anthem.
はい、行こうか。
岡田監督見た。
Ready to go. Hasibi will captain Japan this afternoon. And this really is all about Japan's first game against the Cameroon on the 14th of this month. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff in Bloemfontein. This is a really good warm-up for them, which is why Okada has sent out his first choice 11. Always at the back of Japanese minds is the physicality of some sides. Well, the Ivory Coast, they're big, they're rough and they're tough. A really good test for Japan. Ranked 45 in the world, Ivory Coast 22 places higher. And we are just about to all set to go at the Stade Tourbillon, home of FC Sion. in the southeast of Switzerland, and we're underway with the Ivory Coast in orange kicking off Japan in blue. And both coaches looking for automatic football. The Ivory Coast have been based in Montreux for the last 10 days. Sven-Göran Eriksson was only appointed in late March. Paraguay was his first game in charge. He says he's been happy with the preparations. He knows what the team's weaknesses are and gave a hint that perhaps the Ivory Coast are not the best when they don't have the ball. They have so much going for them though, including Didier Drogba, who has just had a fantastic season for Chelsea. 32 appearances in the Premier League, 29 goals. He won the Golden Boot. Scored the winner in the cup final as well, as Ivory Coast tried to put it together up front, but it's booted away by Japan. Just Okazaki up front, number 9, by himself. Japan will try to press the ball though. That's what they did against England with great success in the first half. Okazaki slips. Concedes the possession to the Ivory Coast. The ball is there to be won in midfield, and neither player really committed. After all, this is a friendly. I think in the World Cup we'd see players going for those 50-50 balls. A little bit of possession from Japan. They knock it about nicely. And he took the free kick a bit quickly. They couldn't collect. It's back with the Ivory Coast. This is Yaya Toure, subject of increasing transfer speculation, said to want to go to Manchester City. Drogba's on his way. 2 for company. Wins the corner. Fantastic scoring record for the Ivory Coast as well, Drogba. 43 goals in 66 appearances. On his day, he is unstoppable. First set piece for Ivory Coast, and in it goes. The goalkeeper comes. Not convinced he got anything on that. I think it was a defensive header. Kalou manages to keep possession, but then turns into trouble. Nobody upfield for Japan, and there's plenty of time for Didier Zakora of Sevilla to find Yaya Toure, and Ivory Coast can start to build again. Drogba's flick goes to nobody. Honda, Nakazawa, Kono. Studied build-up from Japan. Zakora, who is the first choice defensive midfielder for Ivory Coast. Okazaki commits the foul. Zakora was quoted during the week saying he wasn't quite sure that he was going to be called up. He is one of the side's veterans, he's a key player, but he took nothing for granted, worked hard in training, and with a new manager anything is possible. Eriksson is fairly conservative in his squad selections and indeed his team selections. Experienced manager, of course. Took England to 2 World Cups, reached 2 quarter-finals as Drogba injects a little bit of pace. Dindan, formerly at Portsmouth, on his way to Qatar. Skill on the golf, a ball from Guy Demel. It's a poor throw in. Ivory Coast though will retain possession. Tierney, Sakura, who is playing in central defence this afternoon, possibly because the Japanese lack height, but they are quick. Kolo Touré finds a Drogba. Kalu. And the first shot on target in this match is comfortably dealt with by Kawashima. Japan's third choice goalkeeper. But he's kept his place in the side. Winning his 9th cap today. Tiote, his first time ball. Guy Demel, the right back, charging forward, can't get there, but will, I think, win a corner. Kubi tracking back. He's picked up a knock. The referee will hold play. Japanese preparations have been very thorough for this tournament. They will not lack for fitness. Second corner of the game, and it's bouncing around in the Japanese penalty area. Unconvincing defending from the Asian side. And once more, Didier Zakora comes across to snuff out any chance of a Japan counter-attack. Wasn't the best clearance and went straight to Drogba, but came at him pretty quickly. Nakazawa felt the impact of that challenge. In his second spell as the Japan coach is Takeshi Okada, 53 years old. Former international player, played 24 times for Japan between 1980 and 85. He was the head coach of Japan at the 1998 World Cup. And he's been in charge since December 2007. South Africa will be the 4th consecutive World Cup finals for Japan. 98 they didn't win a game. 2002 1 point from 3 group games, and in 2006, which was on home soil, they won 2 of 4 games, reached the second round. As Honda's cross goes behind. Yes, the tournament on home soil in 2002, 1 point from 3 group games. 2006, which was in Germany, of course, they won 2 of 4 games to reach the second round. So improving all the time. But they have a really tough group. Group E they're in. Open up against Cameroon on the 14th. As I said, 5 days later they play Holland. who are the dark horses. And then they finish up against Denmark. Again, another very tough physical side. So by no means easy for Japan. After the game against England, John Terry, the former England captain, was told that Japan expect to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup. And Terry, with a raised eyebrow, apparently said yes, they will cause problems. But, semi-final spot is hugely optimistic, especially given their run to this tournament. And they've given the ball away to Solomon Kalou. Drogba can't make it. Kalou gets it back though. Dingdan. Free kick. Eboué, the man brought down. Ericsson is switching his players round. Eboué wide left of midfield when normally he's a right back. He has played in a right midfield for Arsenal, but he is right-footed. Ericsson though just assessing his options, getting to know his players, because of course injuries and suspensions always have an impact in tournament football. Always good to have a plan B. Drogba. And deflected and in. A third consecutive own goal for Japan. I think this is going to be given to Tullio. The ball hit the wall. "13 minutes in. Ivory Coast take the lead." Yes, it will indeed go down as an own goal. It hit the centre forward, Okazaki, and then rebounded off Tullio. Well, he scored an own goal against England. He's got another one now. It's extraordinary, really. 3 in a row. Ivory Coast lead 1-0. Well, Japan are hoping that they're using up all their bad luck before the tournament. It's another stinker for them. And they need to come from behind. It looked like a foul from behind, but the referee says play on. With the back pass, and Harry Boubacar in the Ivory Coast goal has had very little to do in this opening quarter an hour or so. Ivory Coast have dominated possession, dominated territorially, and they're ahead. Drogba was caught by Tullio, and he felt that. This is the side of Drogba's game that tends to irritate Chelsea fans, but you never quite know when he's hurt. I would suggest that was quite painful, but he does go down a little bit too easily sometimes, but he looks to be in some pain there. And he's taken one in the ribs. Let's hope that's not too serious. It really would cramp the Ivory Coast style in the finals. They rely so much on Didier Drogba. They do have some fantastic forwards, but Drogba is their main man. So Tulio has scored an own goal and taken out the opposition centre forward. Completely accidental as Tulio goes over to say sorry. There's always a danger in these games that somebody will pick up a knock, especially when people are going at 75-80%, not giving it 100%. That's when injuries tend to occur. Drogba has taken a painful one in the ribs. This is the goal. Tulio is one of a couple of players in the Japan side with a Brazilian connection, known as the Brazilian Samurai. He and Nakazawa are the first choice central defenders, but this is bad news. It looks like an arm, and I don't think that looks very good for Didier Drogba. And some thinking to do for Sven-Göran Eriksson. Will Drogba be able to continue? No sign of a substitute. In fact, the fourth official does have a board, so it looks like Drogba will be substituted. And it looks like Seydou Doumbia will be the replacement. So Drogba will be assessed by the Ivory Coast medical staff, but that didn't look very good at all. So Ivory Coast down to 10 men. Yes. Tiote commits the foul on Hasibi, the Japan captain, and here is the change. Doumbia is on. So an early and unwanted substitution from Eriksson's point of view. His captain, his star man, is off and hurt. And fans of the Ivory Coast will be on tenterhooks until their opening game on the 15th of this month. They are in Group G, and Portugal and Brazil are their first two games. Brazil the favourites, of course, or joint favourites with Spain, but Portugal will be really tough as well. The other team in their group is North Korea. They play them last. It could be all over for them before that. So they need a really good start to the tournament. Only played in the World Cup finals once before. Went out in the group stage in 2006. They had a stinker of a group then as well. Argentina and Holland were the two big teams in their group. They did though beat Serbia, but they scored in every game. They're the only team taking part in the World Cup in South Africa who has never failed to score in a World Cup match. And as Eriksson has found out since he took over in March, they are very strong going forward. Perhaps defence is where they need to work on things, which might explain why Didier Zokora, one of the more experienced players, is having a run out to centre-back this afternoon. He reads the game very well. Played in some top leagues. Suzukubu, good run from him. Kalu and Abue combine. So Tiene puts his foot through the ball. Oh, that's really slack. Really slack from Abe. And Abue. Kalu. Yaya Toure. Dindan slipped, and Okazaki is offside. Guy Demel, who spent most of his football career in the Bundesliga, but set for a move back to France, born in Paris. Winning his 29th cap today. Spent the last few seasons at Hamburg, who reached the Europa Cup semi-finals this season, only to be beaten by Fulham. Tiene wins the ball for Cameroon. It's tight over there, and Solomon Kalou wins the free kick. Yaya Toure to his brother Kolo, who of course is at Manchester City. Nagamoto. Better from Japan, but spoilt by a wayward pass from Honda. Kalou. Combines with Nagamoto. Ball is out of play. Halfway through the first half, and the Ivory Coast lead through an own goal from Tulio. A free kick by Didier Drogba struck the wall, struck Tulio, and bounced past the goalkeeper, who has to come off his line very quickly there. Well read from Kawashima. Could do nothing about the goal. A couple of feet raised, but the referee lets it go. And whether that will happen in South Africa remains to be seen. Here's Honda. Good work from him. So Ivory Coast back there in numbers. Here's Dindan. Good pressing from Japan. As Guy Demel is forced back, and they've given the ball away. Here's an opportunity for Japan. Just no time. Abe trying to get the shot away. They will have another go at it. Hasibi with the cross. Throw goes the way of the Ivory Coast. Two changes for them this afternoon. Ramarik and Ngoso left out. with Demel and Aboué returning to the side, but pretty near full strength. Didier Drogba off injured, and that was worth a shout, as Abe was about to pull the trigger and seemed to have his foot whipped away from beneath him. Referee well positioned though, waves play on. This is better from Japan, and they had numbers up for that attack. They were a little hesitant in the first 20 minutes or so to commit anybody to the attack. Let's have another look at that. The referee's got that one right. He was just run off the ball. First impression, it looked like there may well have been a good shout for a penalty there, but good reading of the game from the referee. CB couldn't find the through ball. Tiote. This is Emmanuel Aboué. Tiote, Yaya Toure, Solomon Kalou. Ended with a bit of an aimless chip, but Yaya Toure has won it back. Kolo hooks it forward. The goalkeeper decides to stay at home. Needed his defenders to bail him out there. But a ball like that, with Japan's recent record of conceding own goals, anything could happen, but they managed to defend that one successfully. Hasibi. Kono, decent cross, and again Zakura is there. Good interception from him. I wonder if he is going to be the answer to Ivory Coast's defensive questions. He's been impressive so far, but here we have the first corner for Japan, and let's see what they can offer from the set piece. Firm defensive header from Yaya Toure. Prevents Tulio from getting anywhere near it. He is a threat at set pieces, the big centre half for Japan. Nagamoto. Endo finds Nakazawa. He's making his 118th appearance for Japan today. Here's Tulio. Toure read that all the way and completes the clearance. And it's a good clearance too. And not a bad effort at all. Coming in from Doumbia. Toure's long ball, and Japan almost caught napping. So a little warning there for Japan, who have pressed on in the last 10 minutes or so, but they have to be mindful that Ivory Coast have pace up front, even in the absence of Didier Drogba. That was his replacement, Doumbia. Who will play his football in Russia next season. He has left Young Boys of Bern, the Swiss team. won by Aboué. Here at Ivory Coast again, and onto his left foot from Dindan, and it just opened up for him there. And Doumbia was sliding in as well. So they look threatening going forward, the Ivory Coast. The move gets a round of applause from the bench. And Japan a little bit exposed at the back once more. Half an hour gone, and still the own goal from Tulio separates the sides. Dindan wanted a free kick. He too is leaving his club. He was at Portsmouth, and then at Portsmouth last season. 8 goals in 19 games, played in the FA Cup final, but he will play his football in Qatar next season with Al Shorta, the police club, who have changed their name to Lekuyua, promoted to the top division in Qatar, and they've made a couple of signings. Guitamel. Aboué. Yaya Touré with a little bit of room with which to operate, but his ball forward is too strong, and Japan can come again. Endo. It's asking a lot of Honda, who very nearly got there. Keisuke Honda plays his football in Russia with CSKA Moscow, so he'll be a teammate of Seydou Doumbia next season. So had 3 seasons in Holland. He's one of the few players in the Japanese squad with that X factor. Nakamura is another one. Takayuki Morimoto, who's a 22-year-old forward who plays in Italy. So somebody else who they're going to look to, but they have defending to do here. It's with Aboué. Nobody there. The loose ball, though, will be picked up by Tiote. He's beaten his man, but can't beat the second one. So Honda putting in a shift. And I mentioned the Japanese have been very well prepared for this tournament. The coach even put low oxygen tanks in their room and asked them to use it for 1 or 2 hours a day so they can get used to the altitude. They've been training at South Phi, which is 1,800 metres above sea level as well, so they will not lack for fitness and they will not lack for organisation. But on the evidence of the display against England and the first 35 minutes or so here, they are going to struggle to get out of a Group E. Yaya Touré opts to go back to Zakora. was a strong challenge on Solomon Kalou. The bounce beats Tiene, the left back. Again, Japan can't find a way through a packed Ivory Coast defence, and there's a little bit of room for Eboué to break. This is Dindan. Very strong. Tiene checks. Kalou. Dindan just a touch away from finding the route to goal. Pass was just a touch heavy. Nagamoto. And the miscontrol is from Kubu. So things just not going Japan's way, as has been the case for their warm-up period. Lost to 2-0 at home to South Korea. Before that, they lost 3-0 to Serbia. Seemed to have victory in the bag against England, but then scored 2 own goals. Played really well in the first half, but England raised their game in the second, put Japan under a little bit of pressure, and the two centre-halves, Nakazawa and Tulio, put through their own goal. It's Tulio who's put through his own goal this afternoon in Sion, Switzerland, which is the goal that separates these two sides, and we have yet to see the Ivory Coast goalkeeper, Barry Boubacar, make a save. He's had very little to do, been well shielded by Kolo Toure and Didier Zokora, the centre-backs, but Japan in the Ivory Coast last third once again as Endo combines with Honda. Tulio chipping it forward. Zokora, good distribution out of defence from him, finds Kalou, who switched sides once more. Chosen a very attacking squad has Eriksson. 6 strikers in it. Drogba, Kalou, Dindan, Doumbia. All of them are on the pitch. So Gavinho is in fine form as well. And Emmanuel Kone is also an attacker. So plenty of options going forward for Sven-Göran Eriksson, even if it turns out that Didier Drogba's injury to what looked like an arm is a serious one. Drogba off in the 16th minute after a clash with Tulio. It looked like Drogba may have taken one in the ribs, but he was holding his arm as he left the field, and that's the first effort on goal from Japan. And Keisuke Honda, who is left-footed. Oh, he got his knee over the ball there, and that wasn't very far away from a goal. Ali Boubacar has had very little to do, but I think he was very grateful to see that one flash past an upright. of other World Cup teams are in friendly action today. Slovenia against New Zealand, they're both taking part in the tournament in South Africa, and then later on it's France against China. Sakura takes a blow to the face. China not taking part in the World Cup. France certainly are. Finalists of 2006, winners in 1998, but very lucky to be in this edition of the World Cup after that William Gallas goal in Paris following Thierry Henry's handball. Nobody the Ivory Coast half for Japan. Here's Kolo Toure. Nagamoto with the interception. Yaya Toure lets it bounce and wins the header. Solomon Kalou holds off Endo. Doumbia, Tiote, ball could have gone anywhere, and Kalou knew he'd overrun it, they had been given just a little nudge, but he was never going to get to the ball, and there was never any chance of a penalty kick being awarded. Here's Nagamoto. Tulio. A little bit of space here for Hasibi, who just dropped into the hole between midfield and defence, but Japan couldn't make anything of it. And here's the strong running Emmanuel Eboué, who gives it away. Gets it back though. Tiote. Haruna Dindan against Nagamoto. Guy Demel. Now here's Okazaki, but he's got to take them on all by himself. Did have support from Hasibi, but Akubu is offside. Well, it hasn't really come together for Japan up front. They have been pretty organised at the back, hard-working in midfield, but too often Shinji Okazaki has been isolated up front, as we just saw then. And although Honda, Akobu, Hasibi are the supporting players, they just haven't got there quick enough to help their centre forward, and consequently we've seen very little action in the Ivory Coast goalmouth. Just the one shot from Honda. As Tiote gets out of a little bit of trouble. It's given away. Now, can Japan do something in the final moments of this first half? Hasibi. Nakazawa, they're going backwards though. So Nakazawa opted to retreat rather than continue his forward run. This is Habe. Endo. So Ivory Coast are well set in defence. Honda. The sign said 2 minutes. Tulio. Kubu. way off target, but there was an opening there. He was entitled to have a shot. The centre forward Okazaki didn't like it much, but Japan have been restricted to a couple of long-range efforts. They cannot break through that central defensive pairing of Kolo Torre and Didier Zakora, which works pretty well. Doumbia strong on the ball, withstanding the physical challenge. Kolo Torre thought about going forward, but he's resisted the temptation. His brother, though, is in the Japan half and causing a nuisance as the shot flashes past the post. And again, Japan backed off. Doumbia, who's been impressive since he came on as a substitute for Didier Drogba. He's had one just over the bar, one just past the post. He's getting close. Endu couldn't get to near enough to prevent the shot. And the referee brings a halt to an interesting first half. The only goal of the game scored after 13 minutes. A free kick taken by Didier Drogba. It hit the wall and rebounded off Tulio past his own goalkeeper. The third consecutive own goal that Japan have conceded. But just 3 minutes after that, a huge blow possibly for the Ivory Coast. Starman Didier Drogba stretchered off. Damaged ribs in the incident with the Tulio. As I mentioned when he went down, you're never quite sure with Didier Drogba. He goes down very easily. Sometimes he is hurt and sometimes he isn't, but it did appear on that occasion that he was struggling and suffering. I think Sven-Göran Eriksson, the Ivory Coast coach, is quite happy with that first half performance, the injury to Drogba aside. Eshi Okada, the Japan manager, Japan coach, has a lot of food for thought. Restricted to 2 long-range efforts. One was fairly close from Honda. The other one from Akubu was always going wide. Now there is a substitute on, and it is their talisman. We wait official confirmation. In fact, it might be the other Nakamura, as he's known, which is Kengo, who is a holding midfielder. I thought for a second Sunsuke Nakamura, who is their playmaker, was on, but we await confirmation of that. Here is Nakamura's first touch of the ball. So Japan need to settle early in this second half and find a way through the Ivory Coast defence. Early attacking opportunity for Japan, but it breaks down. And Solomon Kalou just about stops the ball from going out of play and holds off 3 Japan defenders. Can't find a teammate though. Well, there have been more than one substitution, because that is Nakamura, Shunsuke Nakamura. So both Nakamuras are on. He has been struggling with an ankle injury, but was said to have fully recovered and was going to play in this match. A bit of a surprise that he didn't start, but he's on for the second half, is Nakamura. So hopefully he'll give Japan that missing something. Is Junichi Inamoto, he's on as well. Another one with experience of European football at a very high level. Didn't quite make it at Arsenal. Just played for Cardiff, West Bromwich Albion, Galatasaray, Eintracht Frankfurt and Rennes in France. Plenty of experience. So the big guns are on for Japan. They would love to go to South Africa on the back of a win. So they're going to have to find a couple of goals if they want to do that. Kabue runs into trouble. Here's Nakamura. Kono. Asibi. Akubu fouled. Free kick Japan. They already look a little bit sharper than they did in the first half with the substitutions. Gary Bubakar organising his wall. Shinsuke Nakamura will take it. And Ali Bubakar made a little bit of a meal of it, but he managed to gather it at the second attempt. Nakamura tried to make it bounce just before him. Did it take a deflection off the wall? It's difficult to see from that angle, but the goalkeeper solidly behind it, even if he didn't gather it first time. Good skill from Dindan. So the news that Didier Drogba was injured in this friendly has spread throughout the world. And Ivory Coast fans will hope that it's nothing serious. Asibi gets lucky with his return ball. Kono just outnumbered in the end. Yaya Toure. And Tiote sorted out. Oh, Solomon Kalou, a little bit of space. Dallied on the ball. And the goalkeeper saves the corner, but just for a second Kalou had a little bit of room in which to operate. Yaya Toure, Kalou, Eboué turned into trouble. Touré again. Chiene. Looking for Doumbia on the far post, but it was overhit. Good challenge from the defender, good clearance from the goalkeeper, denying Solomon Kalou a sight on goal, and it looked for a second like it might open up for him. Japan, though, have shown more intent. They've been more positive in this second half. They have the added confidence of some experienced substitutes coming on. Here's their captain, Hasibi. Kalou and Dindan getting together to snaffle possession for the Ivory Coast. Guy Demel. He has been known to play in the centre of defence, but Zakora is there this afternoon. That's an interesting long ball, but the goalkeeper and his defenders have it covered. Doumbia chasing a lost cause. Tulio. Kono. Forced backwards though.
Sorry.
Good defending from the Ivory Coast. When they don't have the ball, they're working hard on their shape and discipline. It's something that Eriksson has highlighted that they need to do. Kalou. Still Kalou. He lacks support though. There's nobody moving for him. Chiene. Tiote. Touré. The lack of options there for Solomon Kalou on the edge of the area. So Japan make another substitution. Okazaki is off. He's had a fruitless afternoon. Keiji Tamada is on. He scored the goal in their only other previous meeting, which was a couple of years ago. Japan winning 1-0. Tamada scoring an early goal. Takeshi Okada, the coach, using his options. Tamada wears 11 and will play centre forward. Inamoto wins the ball but gives away possession. Strong run from Touré. Weak pass though. They just can't keep hold of it, Japan. Abue. Tiote. Kalou. Combining with Dindan, and Dindan, sight of goal. Could have shot. Lays it back to nobody. There was an opportunity to shoot there for the former Portsmouth man, but he declined to take it. and the chance was gone. Tamada working hard. Japan retain possession. Nakamura just threads it through. This is Tulio, who's in a very advanced position. This is better from Japan. Nagamoto is driven wide, and too wide, the ball out of play. That was promising for a moment there for Japan. Nakamura. Everything goes through him when he's on the pitch. Nakamura trying to get on the end of the pass from Akubu. So every member of both squads will get a run out this afternoon in this game of three halves, 135 minutes, but the third half has been designated a training match, so no caps will be awarded. It is not official, but something extra for the fans in the Stade Tourbillon. Japan trying to raise the tempo in this second half, and they've done better than they did in the first. But they're still finding it hard going against a strong and well-organised Ivory Coast side. If they can get out of their group, i.e. beat one of Portugal or Brazil and North Korea, they will be a handful for anyone, but they must make a good start, and you feel they must beat Portugal to have any chance. Here's Tiote, and that's going to be fortunate. Oh, got behind them in lucky circumstances. The ball just wouldn't run for them. And Japan survive. Still only a goal behind, but they're having to chase the game. And Ivory Coast controlling it, playing on the break. And they've had a good foundation because Kolo Touré and Didier Zakura at the back have been rock solid. Here's Tulio, who conceded the own goal, an hour gone, and the Ivory Coast still lead a goal to nil. And here's Dindan, pulls it back with his left foot, and the shot from the substitute Doumbia, he didn't really get hold of it, and the goalkeeper didn't have to move, but a good move from the Ivory Coast. Through the legs of the fullback Nagamoto. Doumbia scuffed the ball really. It was a good idea to hit it first time on the turn. Went through the fullback's legs, but there was hardly any pace on the ball. A good connection there, and that surely would have been 2-0. Ivory Coast build again. Zakura, Tiene, Kalu is forced backwards, so manages to retain possession. Solomon Kalou was hoping to play for Holland. He held out for a long time. Instead opted for the Ivory Coast. And he's a key man in their first 11. Doumbia, Tiene, Dindan. It's a good ball, spreading it wide. Eboué's offside. But just for a second, Ivory Coast got one-on-one on that far side. So the substitute is substituted. Doumbia has looked lively, but his game is done. And here's Abdulkader Keita, who plays his football in Turkey with Galatasaray. So midfielder for a forward, so I wonder if Eriksson has decided that he wants to just lock up shop a little bit. Here is the new man. Guy Demel, Tiote, who's having an increasing influence on this game in midfield. Yaya Toure, another good performance from him, very solid. Zakora has been outstanding at the back in everything he's been asked to do. They haven't really given Japan a look in. Kalou. Tiene can't find Kalou. This ball falls to Dindan though. Nakamura. Just shoved from behind by Keita. Kobu off, and Morimoto on. Takayuki Morimoto, 22 years old, this is his fifth cap, and he has played for Catania for the last 4 seasons, last season in Serie A with the Sicilians. He's powerful, he's quick. He's a little bit raw, which is why he's not in the starting lineup. Referee allows play to go on. Japan still in possession. Here's Nakamura. To the other Nakamura, and Tulio puts the ball out of play. So the fullback Kono can get some treatment. We haven't seen the yellow card so far this afternoon. Here is the first one. And it'll be Dindan. It hurt. So Kono will be stretchered off. I'm sure he'll be back though. But the first yellow card of the game goes to Aruna Dindan. fact be a change at right back. Kamano is going to come on. Wins his 53rd cap for his country. Made his debut 5 years ago. Very reliable squad member. Always good when you can call on a fullback of that kind of experience. But still no sign of Japan really getting into this game. They have had a little bit more of the ball. As the Ivory Coast to give the ball back to Japan. It was Tulio who kicked it out. Into the last quarter of this match. A warm afternoon in the Swiss Alps. Japan looking a little bit busier, but still no way through the Ivory Coast defence. Ibue gives it away and Japan can come again. Honda. Nakamura finds the substitute, Kamano. Nakamura just shaping to shoot, and just as he did, he was tackled. Guy Demel clears the lines for the Ivory Coast. To Morimoto. His presence is already causing Ivory Coast to have a think about things. Just that bit of extra physical power up front. Kolo Toro relieves the pressure by belting it forward. Kaita couldn't maintain possession, but it falls kindly for the Ivory Coast. So they have given it away. Two Nakamuras in midfield. Yaya Touré's ball forward. Dindam. Still Dindam. Kaida Keita is run off the ball. Inamoto, Nakamura. Can't pick out Morimoto. 5 goals in Serie A last season in 27 appearances. They will use him as an impact sub. Japan. He hasn't really made an impact since he came on. Here's Kalu. Couldn't find the final ball. The layoff is from Morimoto. He gets it back. Nakamura. Hustled out of it though by Tiene, and Yaya Touré has plenty of time. So to Guy Demel. Now the pace of the game has dropped, and that will suit Ivory Coast. It's walking pace for Dindan. And the Ivory Coast body language seems to indicate they don't think Japan have got a goal in them. And they play keep ball. Chiene Tiote. Morimoto, can he inject some urgency into Japan's play? Nakamura is thwarted. Nagamoto has the throw in. Another change for the Ivory Coast. Dindan's work is done. He's had a good game and he gives way to Gavinho, who is in form. He looked really lively against Paraguay in that 2-2 draw last time out. Plays for Lille. In the French league, they had a storming end to the season, did Lille. And Gavinho was a big part of that. 13 goals he scored last season. His nickname, by the way, came from a Brazilian coach. On the evidence of his game against Paraguay, he certainly deserves a Brazilian nickname. Many people think he might be in the starting lineup for the Ivory Coast when they open up against Portugal. So Dindan started today. Here he is. Fouled. Just gives them something a little bit different. Gavinho likes to run with the ball. Good challenge from Inamoto. Ball breaks for Nakamura. Ambitious pass, intercepted, and it's all too easy for the Ivory Coast at the moment. Japan are not putting any pressure on their defence, and really the goalkeeper Boubacar has had a very quiet afternoon. I can't remember. Oh yes, he has had to make one save. Apart from that, very little to do. Bouet. So played ahead of Guy Demel on that right side for this second half. Still, Ivory Coast very comfortable in possession, playing at their own pace. Giving it away though. Morimoto with the knockdown, and that's why he's a little bit raw. Surely would have realised there was nobody supporting him. He's playing up front by himself, but the knockdown was to nobody, and perhaps a more experienced player would have tried to keep possession until the reinforcements arrived. And it's a rare foray upfield for Japan, but they give it away, and Ivory Coast playing at a very slow tempo. Inamoto, Nakamura again takes the ball in his stride, but it just got away from him. the semblance of a decent move, the two Nakamuras combining. Tamada was involved as well. So complete contrast to the last World Cup for Japan, where they had some very easy warm-up games and won them comfortably, and everybody thought they were going to go to Germany and do some damage. Didn't quite turn out like that. This time they decided to pick tougher opponents for their warm-ups, and it's backfired on them. As they looks like they will go into the World Cup on the back of a 4-game losing streak. News filtering through about Didier Drogba. It now appears to be his troublesome groin that was causing him problems. It seemed to be higher up than that, the challenge. Some people seem to think it was his wrist. My first impression was it was his ribs, as they were unprotected in the challenge by Tullio. He has had an ongoing groin problem, so issues for Didier Drogba. Bouet is fouled. Goal number 2, and it is Kolo Touré up from the back. Didn't need his height, and really slack defending from Japan. They will go to the World Cup on the back of a 4-game losing streak. Surely there's no way back for them in this game. Kolo Touré with his 3rd goal for the Ivory Coast. That surely puts the result beyond doubt. And the free kick swung in. Touré unmarked every single Japanese defender behind him. It was an excellent delivery. And Kolo Touré stabs the ball home from close range. The goalkeeper exposed. And it just gets worse for Japan. Well, the coach offered to resign after that defeat by South Korea. He was told to stay on, tried to make light of it afterwards, but his team are not putting it together before the World Cup. That first half against England, they played very well, but they haven't reproduced that form or anything like that form this afternoon against the Ivory Coast. they've conceded an own goal and a very sloppy goal from a set piece from their point of view. Excellent delivery, and Kolo Touré with the simplest of close range finishes. But Japan have problems. Another free kick. Ivory Coast to try to be cute, but doesn't work for them. Keita. Gavinho. Yaya Touré. Sakura. You haven't seen too much of him in the second half. Just Ivory Coast have dominated the game. They've done very little up front, and Sakura has been untroubled. Good work from Yaya Touré. Tiene can't keep the ball in play. Nakamura. Japan have looked tidier since he came on. They've kept the ball better, but they still lack cutting edge. Inamoto. Morimoto. Tightly marked by Kolo Touré. Nakamura. Not enough time for the other Nakamura to get a shot away. TOT is down. Perhaps starting to feel the pace as well on this very warm afternoon. Played well has Ismail Tiote. He's worked hard. The Ivory Coast midfield have enjoyed by far the best of this game. Les Elephants, who are in the ascendancy and about to celebrate a victory on the way to the World Cup. Nakamura loses out to Guy Demel. And that's a good ball from the right back. Aboué. Tired looking cross though from the Arsenal man. Winning his 51st cap today. Made 35 appearances for Arsenal last season. He's not really first choice. He's done well to come back at Arsenal because he was the subject of some booing from the fans. But he's got his act together And he's an important member of Arsene Wenger's squad, an important member of the Ivory Coast team as well. As here's an opportunity for Japan. First time shot takes something of an awkward bounce, but the goalkeeper right behind it, Junichi Inamoto. The ball, of course, has been the subject of a lot of talk. The goalkeepers don't like it, and Gianpaolo Pazzini of Italy said the other day that he thought it was not a great piece of kit. Difficult to control, awkward bounce. As Cameroon make another change. It's another versatile player they bring on in the shape of Emmanuel Kone, who can play just about anywhere. So too Keita. They do have options in their squad, the Ivory Coast. They're going to feel a whole lot better when they find out about Didier Drogba and find out that he's going to be okay for their opening a game against Portugal. In 11 days' time. So Eriksson has got something going here with Ivory Coast. But it's all very well playing Japan in a friendly in Switzerland. But the Ivory Coast, as I mentioned before, will need a fast start. Can't see them beating Brazil. So they have to target that first game against Portugal, who are not quite the force they were. If they can get a result against there and beat North Korea in their last game, then Eriksson and the Elephants could be in business. As Tamada takes a blow to the ankle from Yaya Toure. And as well as Kolo Toure and Didier Zakora have played, they have been shielded excellently from midfield, largely by Yaya Toure. He's an imposing presence in there. Here's Nakamura. Ivory Coast are giving it away though. It's a little bit sloppy until Zakora, left-footed, puts his foot through the ball, and it gives Ivory Coast just a couple of moments to reorganise themselves and get set again. This is a lost cause for Japan. A very disappointing build-up from them. And their coach will come under increased pressure after this performance, as Yaya Toure forgets his defensive duties for a while and springs forward. Loses the ball though, and for just about the first time in the match he's out of position. And Tulio, who's a centre half, playing centre midfield at the moment. Morimoto can't get there, well guarded by Kolo Toure. Allows Badi Boubacar to clear his lines, and Japan have just 2 minutes in which to find a couple of goals if they want to get a result out of this game. And for 90 minutes they haven't looked like doing it. Here's Tamada. Endo with the cross. And Guy Demel may have got a touch on that, which put Tulio off. I'm not sure that he did, but his very presence was enough to distract the big centre half, who has been thrown forward. Desperate stuff for Japan. Into the last minute of extra time. Some reports are suggesting that Didier Drogba has gone to hospital for an X-ray on a damaged arm. after he went off in the 16th minute of this game, a clash with Tulio. As the Ivory Coast come forward again. Gavino's got away. Haven't seen the flashes of brilliance that he displayed in the game against Paraguay last time out. And the referee brings the game to a conclusion. It ends a really disappointing build-up to the World Cup for Japan. Morimoto was a substitute. He made no impression when he came on against a really well-organised and physical Ivory Coast side. The first goal arrived after 13 minutes, an own goal, a third in a row for Japan. Tanaka with it, Torre from a free kick. Final score, Japan 0, Ivory Coast 2.
こういう相手に戦える選手戦えない選手っていうのがある程度はっきりしたかなというのは分かった気がします。なかなかこう